You are listening to a In every universe, there is at least one constant. A multiversal constant, if you will. And that is that the Hydrus System, for reasons unknown, dies. It always happens. It always will. It is an inevitable fate. However, events were unfolding on one particular planet. Hopes of changing the outcome of what was to come. The collapse of the system was already well underway. The people living there were now running, screaming, desperate to escape as their system began to fall. In most cases, help wouldn't arrive. But this universe got lucky. The events of a giant Pating, Daleks, and general multiversal mayhem had caused a Doctor and her companion to come crashing through the universes, one after the other, in a desperate attempt to get home. This Doctor had found herself on one of the planets in the system, known as Rhodes 5, and immediately started to do what the Doctor always does. Interfere. In the short time that they had been there, she had managed to calm enough of the civilians and planned an escape for them using some of their ships, and a teeny bit of borrowed Artron energy.
Grab that cable connected to the ship's engines there.
The Doctor yelled out, as she wrestled with a number of other cables. The sonic screwdriver whirred as she attempted to power them up. Ellie, the Doctor's companion, nodded, rushing over to make the connection.
What will this do?
Ellie yelled, before yelping as sparks flew from the cable.
If, and it's a big if, I'm right, it should give the warp drives of all those ships enough of a boost. Kind of like putting jet plane fuel in a... Quick, name a car.
Toyota!
Yes, one of those things. It's like that. It'll hopefully give it a huge boost and maybe a teeny bit of temporal warping. Helps them get out of here faster. It needs about 10 minutes or so to charge, and then they should be good to escape.
Then what?
Ellie pretended to understand what the Doctor was going on about. They were still very much getting used to the Doctor's occasional technobabble. They had found the best way to handle it so far is to simply nod and play along, then work it out later.
Well, once I know they've got a way off, I'm going to attempt to transmit a transdimensional signal throughout the system to see if I can at least slow it down. The more time we have to save these people, the better. Just hope this doesn't mess up the timelines too much. It's really hard to tell when you're in another universe.
A loud whir of engines, beginning to boot up, filled the air. The Doctor grinned like a madwoman on the highest of highs. Ellie found themselves smiling at this too. There was something they enjoyed about their travels with the Doctor. The moments of joy, the simple act of helping people out. It felt nice. They paused to wonder if it was what it was always going to be like. They hoped so. It was certainly a good distraction for them.
Right, now that's sorted, how about some tunes?
The Doctor exclaimed as she darted back into the TARDIS. A few moments of silence followed before the sound of the song Space Oddity by David Bowie slowly emitted from within the TARDIS.
Ground control to Major Tom.
The rushing crowds running to the ships paused for a moment. The song gave them a sense of calm, a sense of hope. The pause was only a brief one. the matter of their lives at stake still held at the forefront of people's minds.
Ground control to Major Tom.
After a few loud crashes, the sound of something snapping, the static of the song cracking briefly, and to complete the orchestra events, a loud pop followed by smoke gushing from the TARDIS, the Doctor emerged coughing and spluttering, but clutching a large device.
Take your protein pills and put your helmet on.
That's the transmitter, right?
Yep.
The Doctor beamed proudly, a little out of breath.
Now, you take this, set it up on that edge over there, facing towards the sun. I'll clear the smoke from the TARDIS, and then I need you to get inside and stay there so we can leave very, very quickly.
Ground control to Major Tom.
What will you do? Are you gonna be safe?
Ellie raised a questioning eyebrow. The Doctor simply gave a reassuring smile and a brief nod before shoving the device into Ellie's arm and darting back into the TARDIS of smoke.
Extractor fans on!
6. Commencing countdown, engines on.
Ellie rolled their eyes, let out a sigh, and made their way to the edge. The sun was nothing like the one they knew on Earth. It was bright but safe to look at. It was almost like it was more than just a typical sun. Something didn't quite sit right about it. Ellie placed the device down, angling it towards the sun in the assumption that would be the goal.
3, 2, check ignition, and may God's love be with you.
The ground began to shake. The growing sun ahead of them seemed to be getting bigger. Dangerously so. Ellie turned to look towards the ships. Worry began to consume their thoughts. Before they could even take another breath, the TARDIS emitted a loud siren in the mix with the song, which caught Ellie off guard. The Doctor came rushing out, arm raised with a thumbs up. The all clear. The cables connecting the TARDIS hissed and disconnected, dropping to the ground. The Doctor waved them off before dashing towards Ellie, gesturing it was time to initiate the plan. Ellie nodded and ran towards the TARDIS, pausing ever so briefly to look back as the siren died down. They hoped the Doctor was right.
This is ground control to Major Tom.
Right, good. All aimed and ready. Good job, Ellie. Proud of you. Now, just to give it a little boost, reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, and away we go.
You've really made the grade.
The Doctor found herself grinning for the 15th or 17th time that day. It was hard to keep track. Despite being lost and confused in the multiverse, this was a moment of joy. She watched as the device powered up and began to emit its signal. Things began to distort and change, and time itself looked as if it began to slow down.
And the papers want to know whose shirts you wear.
Oh, thank God it's working. Honestly, was worried for a mo there. Didn't know if that was going to work.
The Doctor let out a sigh of relief and turned to head back.
Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare.
Ellie had been cautiously watching on the monitor inside the TARDIS. The sign the Doctor was heading back filled their heart with relief, and they made their way for the doors to meet her outside.
This is Major Tom to ground control.
Doctor!
The biggest of smiles had emerged on Ellie's face. That smile quickly faded.
I'm stepping through the door.
As the Doctor was heading towards them, they noticed a beam of energy emitting from the sun itself, like a solar flare focused into that of a laser. Before they could yell a single word, the beam hit the Doctor.
And I'm floating in a most peculiar way.
Ellie! Ah! Ellie!
The Doctor tried to call out, but the agony of the blast filled every single cell of her body. The pain was too much. She found herself collapsing to the ground. She tried to move and crawl her way back, but the pain was too much.
And the stars look very different today.
Ellie freaked. They found themselves running like they'd never run before towards the Doctor. The song cut out, almost like the TARDIS herself was reacting to the situation.
What do I do?
They were scared. They couldn't do this. This wasn't even their universe, and they were about to lose who they considered their only true friend. Thoughts and fears rushed through their mind, panic setting in quite intensely.
Help me. I need the TARDIS.
Ellie swallowed, took a deep breath, and nodded, crouching down and wrapping the Doctor's arm over them. Once they felt they had a good chance, they stood up, the weight of the Doctor quite literally leaning on their shoulder. As they made their way back, the Doctor's hands began to glow, a glow that was all too familiar to any dying Time Lord. The regeneration had begun. The Doctor looked up weakly at their hand.
No, I can't. I can't be time already. I can't be done yet.
What the hell is happening to you?
When I'm dying, my body, it repairs itself, changes even.
Dying?
Ellie was already panicking, but that single word set off a spiral of thoughts. Was this it? Were they about to lose their friend? What did she mean by change? Nothing made any sense. The world began to shake again, the slowdown effects of the device wearing off. A song began to emit from the TARDIS, leaving both the Doctor and Ellie confused. It wasn't the something the Doctor, this Doctor at least, would listen to.
Don't need money, don't need fame.
Oh, come on, if I'm gonna die, at least let the music be ABBA.
She winced in pain. It was time. There was no stopping it now, regardless of the music choice.
I just wanna make a change.
Ellie, get back! Get back now!
The Doctor pushed her companion away, stumbling to stand on her own feet.
I just wanna change, I just wanna change, I just wanna change.
I'm sorry. It's too late. I'm regenerating.
I just wanna change, I just wanna change.
Ellie went to speak, but the fiery blast of regeneration energy, surging from the Doctor, cut them off. All they could do was watch in horror as their friend became this burst of golden flame-like energy.
I know exactly what I want and who I wanna be.
But then, for a moment, it was like someone had hit the pause button. The energy had now frozen. Ellie tried to move, to see what was going on, but they couldn't. In the corner of their eye, they saw another beam, the only thing that was moving. They watched in terror as it struck the Doctor again.
I know exactly what I want and talk like a machine.
And then time resumed. The Doctor screamed as the second beam hit her, but instead of killing her, it was like the beam was absorbing the regeneration energy. The glow began to fade and the Doctor collapsed to the ground.
I'm now becoming my own self-fulfilled prophecy.
The beam had now formed into a ball-like energy sphere.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Before the Doctor or Ellie could even speak, it was like some unknown entity just flicked it away, and with it, the music stopped, as if it was swept away too. Ellie, as if they hadn't been confused enough during this entire series of events, quickly ran to help the Doctor back to her feet.
Are you okay?
They asked, frantically.
Yeah, I'm fine. I think. That was odd.
The Doctor coughed. A confused expression formed on her face.
What just happened? You said you were dying.
And I was. I could feel the change. I knew I was regenerating. I think I even heard one of my futures. Some blonde goofball. thought I was done with being that in my last incarnation.
Last incarnation? I'm so confused.
I'll explain later.
The Doctor immediately rushed off back to the device she had set up, working as if nothing had happened. This baffled Ellie, but they put it down to the Doctor having some sort of ADHD. It didn't quite make things clearer, but it filled enough boxes to questions Ellie had about the Doctor.
Gonna give this a teeny boost of the sonic just to make sure everyone got away.
The Doctor paused and squinted up at the sky.
I think they made it. That's good. Right. As for us, we'll need to run. Best not to risk sticking around. I'm not taking a chance of dying again. At least not until we're back in our own universe. Maybe. Hopefully.
The sonic whirred, and the device beeped. The duo rushed towards the TARDIS as the environment began to slow again. The Doctor burst into the console room, flicking almost every switch and pressing every button.
What now?
Now we just got to navigate through a breaking multiverse, same as before. Hopefully, the next universe is a bit easier to handle.
The two watched the rotor of the TARDIS begin to rise and fall. The ancient sound of whooshing filled the air of the now abandoned world outside. Of course, unknown to the Doctor and Ellie, and the many people of that world, an ancient being had been watching, and they were fascinated by the events that unfolded.
Interesting.